Welcome to Block and Wealth. This is the show where we take your most important sources, your notes, your research, and really distill them down.
That's right. We aim to get you those crucial insights you need to be truly well-informed, but, without all the overwhelm.
And today, we're embarking on a deep dive into something universally sought after, yet often misunderstood.
We're talking about the fundamental laws governing wealth and financial success.
Exactly. We're trying to move far beyond those common ideas of just luck or chance.
To explore these timeless, almost immutable principles that the sources suggest can genuinely transform your financial world.
Mm-hmm.
And David, the source material for this particular deep dive, it's quite profound. It's a collection of principles that really challenges conventional thinking about money.
How so?
It asserts that true wealth isn't some random event. It's, and I'm quoting here, a practical outgrowth of inner law acted upon with intelligence, confidence, and persistence.
Okay. Inner law acted upon.
Yeah.
That's interesting phrasing.
It is. And our mission today is really to unpack exactly what that means. How understanding these, let's call them underlying currents, can empower you, the listener, to navigate them with purpose.
Okay, let's unpack this then. When we talk about wealth, it's just so easy to fall into that trap, isn't it? Thinking it's about some magical touch.
Or a mythic discovery, finding some secret key.
Just plain old luck. You hear it all the time. If only I could win the lottery. Or some people just get all the breaks.
Right. But our source material immediately tries to disarm those misconceptions. It states quite clearly, wealth is not magic. It's not myth.
Instead, it's that phrase again, a practical outgrowth of inner law, acted upon with intelligence, confidence, and persistence.
And what this fundamentally means for your approach to money, well, it suggests you possess the inherent power to create wealth.
Which is a big shift.
Huge. It shifts you from just passive hope, waiting for external forces, maybe waiting for that lottery ticket.
To becoming an active architect of your own financial future.
Exactly. And the book doesn't shy away from why money matters either. It explicitly calls money the lever by which almost everything else is moved.
That's a powerful statement, the lever.
Think about it. Access to quality education for your kids, maybe the best healthcare for your family.
The freedom to pursue passions or give back meaningfully.
All of that. Money has become, for better or worse, the access point to, as the source puts it, every form of freedom and growth.
That's a crucial reframe then, moving from something external and maybe elusive
to something born from within, generated internally.
So how does the source explain that shift? How do we get here?
Well, what's fascinating is how it traces the evolution of human endeavor. Think way back, primitive times. Our primary resource was physical labor, right? Our hands.
Hunting, building, bartering directly.
Exactly. But as society got more complex, scaled up, we shifted. We moved from direct exchange to more sophisticated strategies.
So the person who once traded fish
now trades ideas. The person who gathered herbs might now be a consultant.
Okay, I see.
And this fundamental shift means money is, quote, no longer tied to physical labor, but instead follows energy, and energy always originates from within.
Energy originates from within. Let's break that down. It sounds a bit abstract.
It can, but it's not meant to be just philosophy for its own sake.
Yeah.
When we talk about energy originating from within, we're discussing really tangible attributes.
Like?
Mental clarity, unwavering focus, sustained discipline, even your physical well-being, which allows for peak performance.
Okay. So cultivating these inner energies lets you dedicate your intellectual power more effectively.
Precisely. To solving complex problems, innovating, providing unique value in the marketplace. That's where the energy translates into financial potential.
So it's really about understanding and then harnessing that inner fuel.
Exactly. And this book, it's very clear, it isn't a manual of methods or get-rich-quick schemes. It warns against that.
Good.
It's described instead as a philosophy of force. It aims to teach us how money moves, why it flows to some and maybe not others.
And crucially,
how to become the kind of person it must obey. How to essentially become a magnet to it.
A magnet. That implies an active role, not just waiting.
Absolutely. It's not passive, like just wishing for a windfall. It's an active process of aligning your internal state, your thoughts, your beliefs, your energy.
And the source suggests these laws are always operating.
Constantly. Whether we're aware of them or not. Mental and spiritual laws, as it calls them, drawing money into our lives, or perhaps repelling it.
So this deep dive is about awareness, making us conscious of these dynamics.
Exactly. So we can stop maybe fighting the current and learn to navigate it with intention. The structure of the book itself is very deliberate.
How so?
Each chapter is presented as a block in the foundation. It's meant to, quote, rouse your reason, stir your self-faith, and challenge your assumptions.
So no checklist for riches.
Definitely not. It's more like blueprints for financial self-construction, building yourself first.
That emphasis on internal architecture, not external tactics, seems key.
It is. And it stresses the concept of no effect without a cause. Very logical.
Meaning, if things aren't working financially.
If your income consistently stays below your potential, maybe. Or if wealth seems fleeting, evaporates quickly.
Or always seems just out of reach.
The source suggests looking inward. Your thinking, your mindset, your established habits might be the underlying cause. Perhaps you haven't aligned your internal state and actions with the universal laws that govern money's flow.
It's a call for self-reflection then. Personal accountability.
Profound one, yes.
Okay, that brings us perfectly, I think, to the first core principle you mentioned from the sources, the law of the inner force. Now, this isn't presented as some mystical thing, right? It's described more as this spark that originates deep within the individual.
A quiet power, sometimes unnoticed, but always there.
Not just a fleeting emotion, but the actual foundation upon which wealth is constructed.
Yes, the source calls it the will to rise above ordinary thought and the courage to trust in one's own potential.
The silent engine, you could say. That, when awakened, starts the whole chain reaction.
Beautifully put.
But how exactly does this spark, this inner force, translate into tangible financial achievement? How does it bridge that gap?
Well, to illustrate this, the source uses a really nice analogy. Think about a seed buried in the soil.
Okay.
That tiny seed, it holds the complete blueprint for a huge tree. But its transformation isn't just chance.
It needs something more.
It requires the latent energy of its inner force, that undeniable drive to sprout, to reach out, to find the sunlight. The source relates this directly to the human mind.
Our hidden capacity for achievement.
Exactly. The modern world, it argues, often confuses external validation with genuine power. We chase trends, quick profits maybe, driven by what others are doing.
Keeping up with the Joneses, financially speaking.
Right. But true, sustainable success, the source argues, is not built upon the surface of material gain, but upon the inner realm of thought and conviction.
So this inner force, when harnessed properly, it does more than just direct actions.
It directs the energy that attracts opportunity. It's described as having a magnetic quality.
Magnetic, so it actively pulls things towards you. Opportunities, resources.
That's the idea. It draws forth the right circumstances, the right people, the right ideas.
So it's not just thinking positive thoughts then. It's about activating this internal magnet.
And having it genuinely pull things towards you. Yes.
How does that actually manifest in the real world?
Well, think about it. It manifests in powerful ways. Imagine someone who walks into a room. They just have this undeniable sense of purpose, of confidence.
You can feel it sometimes.
Exactly. They aren't just thinking positively. Their inner conviction radiates outwards. It makes them seem more persuasive, more trustworthy.
And more likely to attract collaborators, maybe investors, clients.
All of the above. That's the magnetic quality in action, which naturally raises an important question.
How do we awaken this force? If it's latent, how do we switch it on?
It requires, according to the source, a disciplined approach to self-awareness and mental cultivation. It's not passive.
Discipline. Okay. Where do you start?
You have to begin by consciously casting aside limiting beliefs, that little voice of self-doubt.
Oh, we all know that voice.
The one that whispers, I'm not good enough, or I don't have the skills, or that's way too risky.
Got it. Challenge those voices.
Challenge them, dismantle them, and then commit to the deliberate cultivation of positive thought. Not just wishing, but structured positive thinking.
Like affirmations or visualization.
Would be. Plus, rigorous self-examination of your habits and consistently aligning your actions with a higher purpose. It's a whole package.
That sounds like, well, like profound internal re-engineering. It's not trivial.
It's not. Financial success, in this view, isn't accidental. It's the deliberate outcome of an awakened mind actively engaged in the pursuit of its highest ideals.
So what are some specific steps someone listening might take to start this cultivation?
Okay, practical steps. Consider daily visualization, not just wishing for your desired financial state, but feeling it as an already achieved reality.
Embodying it.
Yes. Then, that rigorous self-examination, asking yourself honestly, are my daily habits actually serving my highest purpose, or are they subtly undermining it?
Like, am I spending time on learning and growth, or mainly on distraction?
Exactly, that kind of honest assessment. And aligning actions with a higher purpose, making values-driven choices. Ensuring your pursuit of wealth connects to a contribution you genuinely want to make, not just accumulation for its own sake.
Right. It gives it meaning beyond the numbers.
Precisely. The source uses another analogy here, a sculptor working with a block of marble.
Okay.
The raw stone seems inert, right? Lifeless. But inside it lies the potential for magnificent art.
If the sculptor has the vision and skill.
Exactly. The sculptor's vision plus focused, persistent effort transforms that mass. Similarly, the inner force is like that visionary spark. It sees the potential for wealth even in unpromising situations.
And it guides the mind.
To seek not just any profit, but the right kind of profit. One that aligns with your true nature, your ethics, your long-term goals.
That makes so much sense. Seeing the potential, then having the inner drive to realize it, but in an aligned way, not just chasing anything shiny.
Exactly. And that whole journey really begins with self-trust.
Believing in yourself.
Confidence in your own ability to overcome obstacles, to transform challenges into opportunities. That's essential.
So setbacks aren't failures.
They shouldn't be viewed that way. Instead, see each setback as an invaluable lesson, a necessary recalibration.
Okay, so if a project fails...
Instead of despairing, you analyze. What went wrong? What did I learn? How can I adapt next time? The inner force, described this way, is resilient. It endures failure and comes back stronger.
And when your mind is fortified by that confidence?
It rejects the idea of scarcity. It embraces abundance as its rightful state.
Okay. So to truly harness this force, what's the mindset?
It's a mindset of purposeful action. It's not enough just to wish for wealth. You have to act with determination, with clarity.
Every decision, every effort.
Needs to be imbued with the understanding that the power to create success lies within your own mind. This inner force, once unleashed, sets the law of cause and effect in motion.
Creating a cycle.
A positive cycle. Intelligent action attracts opportunities, and each success further strengthens your resolve, your belief, your force, which leads to more intelligent action.
So the law of the inner force really is the cornerstone, the starting point for all financial achievement.
According to this philosophy, yes. It's that quiet strength transforming potential into reality.
Okay. So we've ignited this inner spark. This powerful force is, let's say, beginning to hum within us. Now what? How do we direct that energy effectively?
That's the perfect transition. Because simply having the force isn't enough. You need direction.
Which brings us to the next principle, the power of definite purpose.
Exactly. The source describes this as the lodestar for all your actions.
A lodestar, like the North Star for sailors.
Precisely. Without it, even the most persistent efforts, the most powerful inner force, can just scatter into the winds. Energy gets dissipated, potential gets diluted.
So it's the crucial step after realizing your inner capacity, giving it a target.
I think so, yes. Definite purpose is described as more than a simple goal. It's deeper than that.
How so?
It's a focused conviction that crystallizes your aspirations into a tangible direction. It's about consciously setting aside life's endless distractions.
And there are many.
Oh, absolutely. And anchoring yourself to one clear, overriding objective, like that lighthouse guiding ships through rough seas.
Your definite purpose illuminates the path through uncertainty.
Helping you navigate the complexities, the ups and downs of the financial world. When your purpose is really firmly defined, you start turning abstract dreams into concrete plans.
How do you find that purpose? Where does it come from?
The process starts with deep introspection, a really rigorous look inside, examining your strengths, your deepest desires, your core values.
Asking yourself some tough questions.
Like, what unique problem do I genuinely want to solve? What unique contribution am I truly meant to make? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind?
Those aren't small questions.
Not at all. But the answers, the source suggests, reveal the contours of your true calling. They let you construct a blueprint not just for financial achievement, but one that truly aligns with your inner identity.
So it's about aligning what you want financially with who you are and what you're genuinely good at, and then focusing all that inner force there.
Perfectly put. And this well-defined purpose, it doesn't just sit there. It compels action.
It makes you do things.
Right. It's not enough to just articulate your dreams. You have to commit to the practical steps needed to make them real.
And when every decision is filtered through that purpose,
the seemingly random activities of daily life start to converge. They become part of a unified strategy. Suddenly, you start seeing opportunities where before you only saw obstacles.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say your definite purpose is to revolutionize sustainable housing. Suddenly, every news article on new building materials,
Or a conversation about urban planning.
or even just a networking event, they all become potential connections to your goal. They're not just background noise anymore.
And setbacks.
They become lessons that sharpen your focus rather than things that drain your willpower. This disciplined approach, it builds resilience.
So, connecting this to the bigger picture, definite purpose acts like an internal compass.
Yes, it keeps you aligned even when everything outside is shifting. Financial markets fluctuate, technologies disrupt.
But your purpose remains constant.
It's the foundation you build on. It's the energy source that fuels you, even when you have doubts or face adversity.
Okay, practically speaking then, how do you make this definite purpose concrete?
It involves setting measurable and realistic objectives. You have to break down that big vision.
Into smaller, manageable milestones.
Exactly. Milestones that serve as checkpoints. Maybe it's launching a new product, securing a key client, hitting a specific savings target.
Things you can actually track.
Right. And each milestone achieved reinforces your commitment. It provides tangible proof of progress, which, in turn, boosts your confidence, your inner force.
So you build momentum.
Precisely. As you achieve these incremental successes, the momentum builds. Your purpose becomes less of an abstract ideal and more of a lived reality. It's the catalyst converting that raw energy of the inner force into directed, purposeful action.
Okay, so we have the inner force, we have the definite purpose directing it. Now you need to act.
But not just any action.
Right. This is where intelligent action comes in, described as the bridge that spans the gap between thought and achievement.
Ideas, principles, even a definite purpose. They remain dormant, potential energy only.
Unless activated by deliberate, focused effort.
Exactly. You mentioned a craftsman earlier.
Yes, acting with precision, care, understanding.
That's a perfect analogy for intelligent action. It's acting wisely, combining that clarity of thought with the discipline of execution.
But how is intelligent action different from just, well, plain hard work? Lots of people work hard but don't achieve wealth.
That's a crucial distinction. The essence of intelligent action is the conscious selection of tasks that directly contribute to your financial goals.
Conscious selection. Discrimination.
Yes. It requires the ability to discern which efforts will yield the most significant returns, and then having the courage to focus relentlessly on those high-yield pursuits.
Even when other, less impactful tasks are screaming for your attention.
Exactly. That raises an important point. Not all actions are equal. Think about two entrepreneurs.
Okay.
One tirelessly turns out social media posts, just throwing content out there without much strategy.
Activity, but maybe not progress.
Right. The other spends maybe less time overall, but deeply researches their target audience, crafts really compelling messages, and then carefully analyzes the engagement metrics.
That's intelligent action.
That's intelligent action. Random or hasty actions, no matter how energetic, often just lead to scattered results, wasted time, wasted energy.
So intelligent action demands analysis first.
Yes. Analyze your situation. Assess your resources, financial, human, time. Determine the most effective strategy before you leap. It's described as a fusion of the analytical and the imaginative.
Analytical and imaginative. How so?
You analyze past experiences, learn from successes and failures, adapt your approach based on data. That's analytical. But you also need imagination to see new possibilities, to innovate, to strategize creatively.
Got it. What else defines intelligent action?
Another crucial aspect is timely execution. Timing can be everything.
Knowing when to act.
Exactly. There's often an opportune moment for a venture, a confluence of your inner readiness and the right external circumstances. That creates fertile ground.
Way too long.
You miss the market window, act too soon.
Before the product's ready or the team isn't quite there.
You risk undermining the whole thing. Someone who masters intelligent actions stays vigilant, prepared, ready to seize that moment when it arrives, recognizing the subtle cues.
That takes awareness. Constant preparation.
It does. And finally, intelligent action involves continuous reassessment. It's not set it and forget it.
Because the landscape changes.
Constantly. Business, wealth creation. It's dynamic. Strategies have to adapt. So it's a continuous cycle. Evaluate, adjust, renew.
After every major action, ask, did this work as intended? What could be better?
Exactly. That feedback loop ensures your efforts stay relevant, potent, and intelligent.
Okay. So now, when you act intelligently, guided by purpose, fueled by inner force, the world responds.
It has to, according to this principle.
Which leads us to the principle of dynamic reciprocity, described as Every action sets in motion a corresponding reaction, a law as immutable as gravity.
It sounds quite deterministic, doesn't it?
A little. Like the universe has this built-in feedback loop for your efforts, ensuring your intelligent actions don't just vanish into the void.
That's a good way to think about it. The source uses that analogy of a stone cast into a tranquil pond.
Right. Small splash, big ripples.
Exactly. The initial splash might be modest, but the ripples radiate outwards, affecting a much larger area. Your actions are like that stone.
A well-planned initiative, a determined step.
Or even a selfless act in business. It sends out waves of influence, and eventually those waves return to you as success, often in unexpected forms or from unexpected directions.
Can you give an example of that ripple effect?
Sure. Think of a software developer who creates something genuinely innovative, something that solves a real common pain point for users.
Okay.
Their intelligent action, the development, creates initial ripples of user satisfaction. Then come positive reviews, word-of-mouth referrals.
And eventually, financial reward that might be far beyond the scale of the initial effort.
Exactly. The ripples amplify the impact.
Yeah.
And even when facing obstacles, the source says, this law holds true. An effort made in earnest, even if met with initial resistance,
Can still gather momentum as the ripples grow.
yes, potentially transforming setbacks into eventual opportunities as the positive effects spread.
So it's critically important not just to do something, but to do the right thing, intelligently and with purpose. Because that's what the universe, so to speak, will reflect back to you.
Precisely. And that reflection, crucially, isn't described as mechanical or blind. It specifically demands intelligent action.
Meaning.
Random effort, haphazard work, just undirected bursts of energy, those will only yield chaotic, often disappointing results back to you. The quality and direction of your efforts determine the response you attract.
This really draws the line between wishful thinking and actual achievement, doesn't it?
It does. Many people aspire to wealth, maybe believing that sheer desire is enough, that it will somehow invoke attraction.
But desire without action.
Remains inert as a dormant seed, as the source puts it. Success is born from the deliberate conversion of thought into action.
Every step you take, building a skill, networking with purpose, making a strategic investment.
Is an act of faith, in a way. A declaration that you're ready to engage with the world and receive its response, its reciprocity.
And action also teaches you through that response.
Absolutely. It carries the invaluable lesson of adaptation. The initial reaction from the environment, the market, whatever, it might not always match your expectations.
Things rarely go exactly as planned.
Almost never. So the principle of dynamic reciprocity invites you to learn and adjust. When you encounter a challenge or a temporary setback,
Don't see it as failure.
see it as feedback, a signal to refine your methods, maybe adjust your strategy. In this process, perseverance and that intelligent recalibration become your essential allies.
So when you hit resistance, you ask, okay, how can I modify my actions so the next reaction aligns better with my purpose?
Exactly. And in doing that, you transform setbacks into stepping stones. You prove your resilience, you refine your approach.
What's fascinating here, the source says, is how this principle is the great equalizer.
Meaning it doesn't arbitrarily favor certain people?
Right. It doesn't care who you are. It rewards those who act with integrity, purpose, and persistence. Wealth isn't presented as some elusive phantom,
To be summoned by magic.
but as a tangible result of clear, consistent, and thoughtful effort. Every move, even small ones, contributes to that larger pattern of success through reciprocity.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got the inner force ignited, we've set a definite purpose, we're taking intelligent action, and we understand dynamic reciprocity, how the world responds.
So how do we actively draw wealth to us, bring it into our orbit?
This is where the famous and sometimes controversial law of attraction comes into the picture.
Okay, how does the source frame it?
The principle itself is stated simply, yet profoundly, like attracts like.
Meaning?
The nature of your dominant thoughts and consistent actions will determine the caliber of wealth that comes into your orbit. It feels like the cumulative effect of everything else we've discussed.
It really does. So at the heart of this law of attraction, what's the core idea according to the source?
It's the notion that every thought carries a kind of vibration, a distinct frequency that interacts with the environment around you.
Okay, vibration.
So when your mind is consistently set on abundance, focused on the certainty of success, it naturally projects a kind of magnetic energy.
That magnetic quality again.
Yes, and that energy draws opportunities and resources towards you. Now, this isn't presented as mystical woo-woo.
Good. How is it practical?
It's about the tangible effects of that mindset, the confidence it creates, the clarity it brings, the proactive approach that naturally emerges.
So someone with an abundant mindset speaks differently,
Yeah,
sees opportunities others miss.
exactly. They approach challenges with a solution-oriented focus that naturally attracts support and collaboration. Conversely,
If your thoughts are stuck in doubt or scarcity,
you inadvertently repel the very prosperity you seek. Through hesitation, missed opportunities, a lack of conviction that others can sense.
the source uses an analogy here too, right? The mind is an instrument.
Yes. Picture your mind as a finely tuned instrument. When it resonates in harmony with the frequency of abundance through clear intention, unwavering belief, consistent action.
It produces a melody the universe cannot ignore.
That's the poetic phrasing, yes. Every time you affirm your capability, every action you take to materialize your plans, you're adding a note to that harmonious tune.
But let's be clear. The source emphasizes this isn't magic, right?
Absolutely not. It clarifies. Attraction is not a magical summoning of riches out of thin air. Please underline that.
Okay. So what is it then?
It's the natural outcome of cultivating a mindset that is clear, confident, and focused on success. When you start to view your goals not just as possible, but as inevitable,
That changes everything internally.
it unlocks a series of actions that naturally align with that certainty. You become more likely to proactively network, to seek out specific knowledge, to invest more boldly, perhaps.
Because your internal compass is pointing towards an already decided outcome.
Precisely. And opportunities that might have seemed invisible before start to reveal themselves, as if the universe, or maybe just your heightened awareness, was waiting for you to send the right signal.
So it's a very active form of attraction, not passive wishing. It's a mindset driving action and recognition.
Exactly. And the source points out the true beauty of this law lies in its dual function.
Dual function.
It doesn't just bring the external rewards you desire, it also reinforces your internal belief in your own potential.
Ah, the feedback loop again.
Yes. As you observe the tangible results of your focused thoughts and actions, maybe an unexpected business prospect, timely advice from a mentor, finding the right resource just when you need it.
Your confidence grows.
Exactly. And that success acts as a catalyst. It strengthens the magnetic pull of your desires even further. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle.
Positive thoughts lead to positive outcomes, which empower even bigger, bolder positive thoughts.
That's the cycle.
Yeah.
And harnessing this law involves a balanced integration of mind and action. They must work together.
How do you do that practically?
You set your intentions clearly, maybe using that SMART goal framework, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, but also making them emotionally compelling.
Seal the goal.
Yes, and then you engage with the world deliberately, unwavering in your actions towards that goal, but critically.
You also need to stay open.
Open to the subtle signals indicating new possibilities. A chance encounter that sparks an idea. An insightful comment from a stranger. A fleeting intuition.
Recognizing those moments as potential invitations.
Exactly. Invitations to expand your financial horizon. That's key.
So, practically developing this power of attraction, where does one start?
It begins with cultivating gratitude. Actively appreciating what you have already achieved, however small. Daily journaling of successes can serve as evidence to your own mind that you can create wealth.
Building belief through evidence.
Right, and simultaneously eliminating those internal barriers. Casting off lingering doubts, negative beliefs, by challenging them directly, reframing them, replacing them consciously with empowering affirmations. The more you affirm your right to abundance, the source argues, the more firmly you establish the energetic conditions for prosperity. It's the culmination, in a way, of your inner vision, the catalyst translating thought into tangible wealth.
This really ties everything together. Inner force, purpose, action, reciprocity, attraction.
Yeah.
But there's one more piece, isn't there? Something that underpins all of it.
Yes. The ultimate catalyst, perhaps. The one that needs to be continuous.
Which is the pursuit of knowledge as the cornerstone of wealth.
Described as the quiet force that continuously transforms potential into tangible success.
It's not just about what you know now, but about the commitment to always be learning.
Precisely. The source envisions the mind as a vast reservoir, one that expands with every new lesson learned, every experience embraced.
And just like water nourishes land.
Knowledge nourishes your ability to see the subtle dynamics of the financial world. It empowers you to decode market signals, recognize emerging trends, understand the underlying principles governing success.
So every piece of information, every insight,
Contributes to your growing arsenal of strategies. It fortifies your endeavors. And importantly, the source stresses that this education is not confined to formal institutions or traditional texts.
learning happens everywhere.
It flourishes in every interaction, every observation, and every challenge encountered along your journey.
So the seasoned entrepreneur learning from market feedback,
Or the innovator adapting to global shifts they observe.
or just someone who reads voraciously and applies what they learn.
They're all united by this commitment to lifelong learning. It's through that continuous study and deliberate reflection that you turn fleeting ideas into powerful tools for wealth creation.
It's about being a perpetual student, then, of life, of your field, constantly asking questions, seeking understanding.
Absolutely. And this process, it demands both humility and courage.
Humility because,
You have to recognize that no matter how much you've achieved, there's always more to learn, more perspectives, more ways to improve.
and courage.
Courage to venture into unfamiliar territories of thought and practice, to embrace the unknown, to be willing to admit what you don't know and actively seek that knowledge out.
And through that process, you discover that challenges are actually
Lessons in disguise. Opportunities to refine your understanding of the laws of success. In the act of learning, you liberate yourself from outdated beliefs and open doors to innovative strategies.
what about learning from others?
Hugely important. The source highlights the value of receptivity to the wisdom of others. Mentors, peers, even competitors sometimes.
They offer insights you might miss on your own.
Exactly. Engaging in dialogue, joining mastermind groups, seeking mentorship, exchanging ideas. It broadens your horizons, tests your theories, and turns solitary learning into a dynamic, collective process.
And today, with the digital age, access to knowledge is just unprecedented.
It truly is. Unprecedented access to a vast array of resources. Books, seminars, online courses, forums, data tools. Endless opportunities.
So you can continuously update your knowledge, adapt your strategies with incredible agility.
And that agility, rooted in constant intake and application of new information, becomes the bedrock of sustained prosperity.
But it requires discipline, doesn't it, to make time for learning?
Oh, absolutely. The pursuit of knowledge is also an exercise in self-discipline, setting aside time each day or each week for focused study and reflection.
Cultivating habits that prioritize learning over just idle distraction.
Yes. And when you commit to that routine, you start to notice the effects. Each moment of study fortifies your mental resilience, sharpens your decision-making.
And in those quiet moments of reflection,
The lessons coalesce. Your vision becomes clearer. The path toward wealth feels less like a possibility and more like an ever-unfolding reality. It truly is the cornerstone.
wow, what an incredible journey through these principles. We started way back with that inner spark, the law of the inner force,
The foundation.
moved through the clarity of definite purpose, the precision needed for intelligent action, understanding the world's response through dynamic reciprocity,
Then how our mindset acts as a magnet with the law of attraction.
all underpinned by that continuous drive, the pursuit of knowledge as the cornerstone of wealth.
It really paints a holistic picture.
It really does. The source material consistently shows us that financial success isn't about some external magic trick or just being lucky.
No, it's about an internal alignment, first and foremost, and then persistent, intelligent effort directed by that alignment.
It absolutely reinforces that true wealth is an outgrowth, as it says, of internal mastery, of consistently applying these universal laws.
It's really not about chasing money in isolation, is it? It's about becoming the person who naturally attracts and sustains wealth.
That process of financial self-construction, building yourself from the inside out.
Exactly. And that really raises an important question for you, the listener, as you reflect on all this.
Which is,
Considering all these foundational blocks we've discussed today, the inner force, purpose, action, reciprocity, attraction, knowledge, which one resonates most deeply with you right now?
where do you feel you need to focus your energy?
Precisely. Which foundational block will you focus on building or maybe strengthening today as you move forward on your own financial journey?
That's a powerful question to sit with, definitely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into these, well, truly timeless principles of wealth.
We hope these insights offer you a maybe new lens, a different perspective through which to view and approach your own financial journey.
Moving you from perhaps being an observer to being a much more active participant in creating your financial future.
And we really encourage you to subscribe to Block and Wealth. And if this resonated, please share this deep dive with others who you think might benefit from these perspectives.
And remember this final thought, drawn from the essence of our sources today.
The journey toward financial success is a holistic blend of inner awakening and intelligent, deliberate action. True prosperity flows from within, driven by discipline, persistence, and a commitment to continual growth.
Wealth isn't luck, it's strategy.